Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have two stories for you, both with updates, and the second one is absolutely epic because we see both sides of a story. Before we start, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and you can always change your mind later. But if you stick around, my friend Carmen here just might have some cookies for you in the near future. Alright, on to the stories, let's jump right in. This story comes to us from Johnny Salad. Am I wrong for being blindsided by a friend's birthday dinner costing me $1,100? Birthday dinner for a friend costs $540 per person. My wife and I were invited to a major city to celebrate a friend's 40th. There were 2 days in the schedule, but we could only attend one because of my work schedule. We went to a fancy dinner and expected it to be over the top and expensive because it's their 40th birthday, and they have high-paying jobs and like to splurge. We met everyone at dinner at a fancy restaurant and found out it was a family-style 6-course meal. When the check came, our friend's wife put it all on her card, and we assumed the bill would be split up afterwards. We knew it would be expensive, but we're okay with it. Went out for drinks after, slept at our hotel, and drove back the next day. Today, our friend's wife messages us that the total minus tax and gratuity split between the 13 of us was $540 per person. We figured on the high end, we'd spend maybe half of that for both of us. We really thought more like $300 total for both of us based on the quality of the food. I'm pretty offended that it wasn't communicated ahead of time that this meal was going to be an effing mortgage payment. What do I do here? OP added a couple of edits. The first one says, Edit 1, we expect to spend a lot of money going out with these friends. We have gone out several times where an evening costs us $250 to $300 per couple, but never anything like $1,100 just for dinner. OP's second edit says, Edit number 2, thanks everyone for the comments. This got a much bigger response than I thought it would. I want to respond to some common comments here. We truly did not expect the host to pay for dinner. Based on previous events and dinners with this group, we expected to pay for our own meal and drinks. When the bill came, the host, birthday boy's wife, grabbed the bill and paid it with her card. We were surprised that it looked like she was paying, but now, a couple days later, she is sending out bills to the couples for their portion of an even split of the dinner. It was not discussed that there would be only one check for the group. Some of our other friends who came with us and were in on all of the same communications leading up to this dinner were also completely surprised by the total amount of the meal. If it matters, they are very well off and still got sticker shock. This is validating for me because they've been with us in this group for many dinners with this couple and also did not expect this outcome. They got a bill for both nights that totaled just shy of $2,000 for food and drinks on tabs that were paid, at the time, by the host couple. For those saying we should have asked ahead of time, I guess this is where I get hung up. We were anticipating a range based on many meals with this group, including birthday dinners. Why would we reach out to the host and ask, this isn't going to cost us more than $1,000, is it? When every past experience was substantially lower, 60 to 70% less. We haven't asked for an itemized receipt yet, but looked up the cost of the family-style dinner per person. Based on what we ate and drank, our total would come to right around $700. To be honest, I would have been surprised by that amount, but we're being asked to pay $400 more than that, and I think, as many people have pointed out, we are getting charged for others' wine choices. We will either just send that amount or ask for an itemized receipt, as many have recommended. I believe our next course is, as many have recommended, to pay for what we had and distance ourselves from these people, or just never accept another invitation. OP's third edit says, Edit 3, my wife contacted the restaurant and it turns out that there is a minimum per person charge that works out to $530 after tax and gratuity for reservations the size of our group. This is $200 per person more than we consumed, and the host never told us about it, even when contacting us for payment. The host would have been aware prior to inviting us because she would have had to agree to it for the size of the group. The restaurant doesn't do reservations for that size party and has to make a special arrangement. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Ali Mac. It says, was someone ordering $500 bottles of wine that only they drank? I would be asking to see the itemized total, and I would split the family style food costs and pay for your specific beverages, but I would not pay a share of high-end alcohol that only some of the guests drank. OP responded to this one and said, I did see some bottles of wine come out. My wife and I had 2 cocktails each. Another commenter down below called NeoFank said, not wrong, not the butthole. I don't know if things are usually different in the upper echelons of society, but to us peasants and peons, planning for expensive things means communicating accurate and prompt expected costs beforehand. OP responded to this one and said, the funny thing is that while these people are all well off, I know people that have way more money, Wall Street, vacations in Italy, second home in New England, and would never assume that everyone in a party would be down for a $500 to $550 per person without discussing it first. You know, I can't even imagine what I would do or how I would feel if somebody told me I owed them this much money for a meal. I think for certain I would never go out for a meal with these people again, or if I did, I would be contacting the restaurant beforehand and making sure that the bill is split and that it's not going to cost me a mortgage payment. OP updated this one, let's jump into it right now. Alright, OP's update is titled, Am I Wrong for Being Blindsided by a Friend's Birthday Dinner Costing Me $1,100? Update. First off, if you're interested in the full story, please check the original post. We, my wife and I, wish we had done more research, of course. We didn't because we've gone to plenty of expensive, to us, meals with this couple for anywhere from $100 to $300, with $300 being the absolute most we've ever spent, and have an expectation that our friends would communicate if something was going to be substantially different than what we're used to. Our mistake. The majority of comments mirrored our feelings that this minimum or even the average ticket price of the restaurant should have been communicated by the host ahead of time, and that this lack of communication is bizarre and pretty tacky. There were lots of comments saying we should have looked up the menu, etc., and obviously in hindsight we wish we had. But the reality is that even if we had looked at the menu, this was, unbeknownst to us, a special event, and our host had selected a price fix menu with a table minimum that they did not communicate to us or anyone else. Other guests in our group were just as surprised by the final amount. Many other comments said not to pay them at all, which I could not seriously consider. Even though I'm upset by the situation, I totally intended to pay our own way, just not to be stuck paying for other people's expensive tastes. Which is why we ended up texting the host that we were very surprised by the total price and asked to see a copy of the receipt. To her credit, she sent it right away. It confirmed the minimum price for the table and that others in the group had ordered very expensive wine and drinks that brought the overall bill up to and above the minimum. We added up our total, which hilariously comes to $666. So that's what we're sending them. Approximately $430 less than what they initially requested. Not sure where this leaves the friendship, but we won't be accepting dinner invitations anytime soon. My wife and I had a blast reading your responses and appreciate all of your perspectives. We'll be cooking dinner at home for a while. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called JEH2003. It says, wow, this is wrong in so many levels. Why wouldn't they tell you how pricey it was going to be? Are they the kind of people who just assume everyone has money like they do? Good for you for just paying what you consumed. I'd have done the same. That's total BS to split the bill evenly when some folks ordered super expensive wine and you didn't. I refuse to subsidize others' expensive tastes. Another commenter down below called NoEstablishment6450 said, well, don't keep us guessing. How was the food? I've never eaten anything even $50 for a meal. I'm hoping anything in the $600 range gave you the big O. OP responded and said, the food was good. I've had better meals for under $200 though. It was a surf and turf, so in my opinion, pretty hard to mess up. This one kind of makes me wonder if some people knew what was going on and also knew that the bill was going to be split. We've read stories on this channel before of people who were taking advantage of their friends and getting the more expensive things on the menu that they normally wouldn't be able to afford just because the bill was being split and that cost wouldn't be completely on them. Not sure if that's what's happening in this case, but it's a definite possibility. OP, I'd say you're right to pay for what you used. Nothing else was communicated, so let your wealthy friend take care of the rest of that. And like I said before, if they want you to go out again, it needs to be very clearly communicated what the prices are of the place you're going to, and what the expectations are for splitting up the bill. Alright, this next story I am really looking forward to covering, because both wife and husband posted to Reddit, and neither one of them knew that the other one had done it until afterwards. Alright, let's get into the wife's post now. This story comes to us from a deleted account titled, "Am I the Butthole for Telling My Husband I'm Done Pushing?" Throwaway account. Me, 40 female, and him, 39 male, have been together for 20 years and married for 15. 2 kids. He has had bouts where he is unhappy and been caught having emotional affairs several times. We have separated 3 times, each lasting about 6 months, and then he decides his family is where he wants to be, and we reconcile. Here lately, I'm seeing the same pattern of being unhappy, moping around, disconnecting from everyone, face in his phone constantly, etc. I do 95% of the household tasks, on top of working 50 hours a week homeschooling. He maybe cooks dinner once every 2 weeks, and he is responsible for grocery shopping on Thursdays and trash on Tuesday. He has hobbies outside the home that he does once a week, and then he does an all-day thing related to this hobby once a month. I've asked him if he wants to talk about it, and he insists nothing is wrong, and I'm imagining things. I stopped pushing. I told him that until he communicates that something is wrong, I'm going to assume it's not. I do not have time to beg someone to tell me what's wrong when they clearly don't want to. The marriage counselor basically told him that he has a communication issue, but he would never do the exercises with me, and insisted that the counselor sided with me because she was a woman. When we got a male counselor and he said the same thing, he said the guy was interested in me. I told him this morning after he was mad that I hadn't pushed him all week, trying to figure out what was wrong, that I'm done pushing. I'll ask what's wrong and if there's anything that I can do to help him once or twice, but after that, I'm leaving it. I'm done. I'm exhausted all the time and feel like I have a sulky teenager in my house. He is now giving me the silent treatment and telling people his needs aren't being met. Am I the butthole? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, we have one from a user called Janet in Spain. It says, "Sounds like you've put up with all of this long enough. Sometimes we're better off alone, or alone with kids, than with someone who clearly doesn't respect us or care one whit about our feelings. Ask yourself this question. If you woke up 5 years from now and things were exactly the same, would you smile or would you want to kick yourself? Respond now based on your answer." OP responded to this one and said, "In this moment, I would be kicking myself for it. I'm terrified to lose my kids 50% of the time, and I know he would fight me tooth and nail for the house, the kids, and child support. I make more than him." Another commenter down below called FitParticular2882 said, "Get advice on how to divorce a narcissist. They're a unique breed. They will do whatever to besmirch you in public. Stop talking to your friends. They're not your friends and will sell you out to him. Please take this advice. A narcissist knows how to make themselves look like a victim in public, and he'll exploit that with your friends. All of a sudden, the waterworks will start, and he'll start telling all your friends how he's blindsided. Get a book on covert narcissist. Make sure you do it from a private Amazon account so he doesn't know you're reading it. Prepare yourself to be ostracized. It'll hurt, but if you prepare yourself ahead of time, it'll hurt less. Take all that extra time you would be spending on them and start using that time to woo yourself. Start developing your hobbies, exercise, whatever makes you happy. Good luck." OP responded to this one and said, "I just ordered 2, one on divorce and one on co-parenting with one, since my kids are my first priority. Sent them to my brother's house and he will bring them to me. It really sucks to lose an entire friend group over this. Opie added an update down in the comments on this one as well. It says, I appreciate all the comments. I'm trying to get my ducks in a row to figure out the next steps without losing my house and kids. I scheduled a consult with a lawyer for 2 weeks from now. He is petty enough and prides himself on how petty he is to fight me every step of the way just because he can. He has gone and told all our friends that he showed vulnerability to me and I brushed him off. When I tried to explain, I was told, he doesn't hit you, he doesn't drink or do drugs, he goes to work. What more do you want? My husband is the same way as yours. It's part of marriage. So when women friends who I thought had fantastic marriages are telling me the same thing, I started questioning if it was just me and if I'm just so emotionally checked out that I'm the problem. OP, there's been quite a few times on here reading stories from people where I've said it might be time for you guys to go your separate ways. Well, in this case, it's not a might be time, it's a holy crap, pack your bags and get out of there as quickly as you can. I don't think there's any way that you're the butthole in this story, and I think we're gonna iron that home a little bit more by reading the husband's post now. Alright, so this account has been confirmed to come from the husband in this case. The username is throwaway AITA wife mad, and the title is Am I the Butthole? Giving my wife silent treatment because she's checked out and no longer pushes me about what is wrong. Been together 20 years, 2 kids, picket fence, all that good stuff. My wife, 40 female, and I, 39 male, are at an impasse, and I'm giving her the silent treatment because she isn't meeting my needs, or showing any concern for me and my feelings. We got into an argument because she asked me what was wrong, and I felt that, after 20 years, she should know to keep asking, and she didn't. She told me she would only ask me once and would assume all is well unless I tell her differently. Normally, she asks and asks until I eventually tell her. It's kind of a game. Eventually, I tell her and we work it out. More and more lately, she has less time for me and tells me she's exhausted between work and kids and home and all the other stuff. I work too. I have hobbies that take me out of the house. I'm tired too. She doesn't get a monopoly on being exhausted. That's parenting. I cook some and take out the garbage once a week, which is more than a lot of men have to do. We have had a hard time on and off through our marriage and are getting on a better track after a separation that I felt was needed after she saw a message pop up on my Apple Watch from a coworker she had asked me to distance myself from personally. I felt she was overstepping just because my coworker was female. My wife is super introverted and doesn't really leave the house, so I'm not worried she's cheating on me. I've been quiet for almost a week, and it seems like she doesn't care. Am I the butthole for keeping on with the silent treatment until she goes back to caring for my feelings? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, we have one from a user called Hera on Olympia 123. It says, normally she asks and asks until I eventually tell her. It's kind of a game. Doesn't sound like a fun game, and it's clearly one your wife is bored of. Tell her or don't tell her, but don't expect someone to keep asking. She has less time for me and tells me she's exhausted between work and kids and home and all the other stuff. You sound like a very tiring person to be around. As an adult, maybe stop being tedious or help with the stuff that makes your wife tired. I work too. I have hobbies that take me out of the house. I'm tired too. She doesn't get a monopoly on being exhausted. That's parenting. I cook some and take out the garbage once a week, which is more than a lot of men have to do. She's lucky to have you doing the garbage once a week and some cooking. That is absolutely equal to the cleaning, laundry, shopping, organizing, childcare while you're out doing hobbies, rest of the cooking, sarcasm. And I noticed from a comment, you actually create a mess when cooking. Do you clean it up? Getting on a better track after a separation that I felt was needed. I suspect your wife needed it too, and has done some thinking while you haven't been together. I felt she was overstepping just because my coworker was female. It's possible. However, she felt the message warranted the request. No one here can make that distinction as we don't know the message. I would suggest that you dismissing your wife's feelings on this is probably not the first time you've dismissed her feelings. Am I the butthole for keeping on with the silent treatment until she goes back to caring for my feelings? Nothing in this post suggests you care for your wife's feelings, or even like her very much. You just want someone to look after you, mother you, and treat you like her only priority. Another commenter down below called InnerDoubt1660 said, "You're the butthole. Taking the trash out once a week? My gosh, you must be the next messiah. All men in the world should look up to you." That was sarcasm. You said nothing about child rearing, so I'm guessing you do absolutely nothing in those terms. So yeah, your wife does get to monopoly that up. You cook some, I'll bet once a week, while wife is making 3 meals a day for her kids and herself. Again, do you want a cookie for being an adult? You don't get a standing ovation for doing your job as an adult living in a house with other people. Jesus Christ, after 20 years, if you can't open your effing mouth and say what is wrong, get over it. No one, not even psychiatrists, want to play tug of war with you and your inability to open your mouth. It's not a game, you're effing annoying. If my husband doesn't tell me what is wrong, I do not ask a million times. She is not a mind reader, and honestly, if she was, I doubt she would want to listen to your 2 brain cells fighting for dominance. If you want a mommy, go back to yours. And giving the silent treatment is not the punishment you think it is. It's probably a very welcomed vacation from you and your whiny, "Ask me what's wrong, ask me what's wrong, ask me what's wrong, ask me what's wrong, please, 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 please." Okay, we obviously dislike the husband already, but let's take a look into some of the comments that the husband left on this post, and they're pretty bad, so let's go. One of them says, "I do stuff at home. If she works late, I'll grab food or cook, usually once or twice every few weeks. I'll take the garbage out to the road once a week since she has some health problems that bother her and the garbage is heavy. I don't cook more often because she tells me I use too many pots and leave her kitchen a mess. I don't do laundry because I messed it up royally and ruined her work clothes." Ugh. Alright, let's move on to the next one. "Yes, but every other time, she's asked and asked for about a week until I felt like telling her. She's a super anxious person and says that it really bothers her when she can tell something is wrong by the way I'm acting, but I don't tell her. She told me I have a history of being unhappy and then seeking attention elsewhere. We went to a counselor, but they agreed with her because women band together. We got 5 sessions in and I refused to go. She still goes on her own." Another comment says, "They were legitimate mistakes. The laundry thing I already discussed. I forgot to put the pod thing in the dishwasher and ran it without soap. I put her cast iron pot in the dishwasher, and apparently this is a big no-no, and it took her a lot of work to get it back to where it was, good to cook with again. I forgot to nail some of the boards in when she was putting her back sitting area together. It's little things." Another comment from OP saying, "I didn't have a physical affair, but it got carried away as a friendship, and my wife and the therapist said it was an emotional affair. I know it was the wrong thing to do, I just hadn't had any attention in about 8 weeks with the difficult recovery from the C-section where she opened up her incision twice, and then the anxiety about taking the baby anywhere or SIDS. She would stay up all hours of the night watching to make sure he kept breathing. I contacted her friend to see what I could do to help because she kept telling me she has so much anxiety and didn't know why, and that the doctor kept changing her meds, so she needed to adjust. It was friendly and 100% on board at first, and then it turned flirty, and next thing I know, it's 2 years, and I'm planning a vacation and to break up my marriage. I stopped it then. That's when she found out." Alright, OP added an edit onto their post. It says, "Edit, I get it, I'm a massive butthole. I'm going to have a talk with her when I get home to see where she is at. If she has checked out of the relationship emotionally, I'll let her go, even if I don't want that. I grew up in the same kind of household, and seeing my grandparents do the same. The only thing she does differently from my mom and granny is hold a job. I still don't think I'll do therapy, as I don't think I need it, but I'll make an effort to be more supportive at home and help." So OP posted a couple of updates on the bottom of this one, and we're still making this guy seem really, really bad, because he is. The update says, "Apparently, my wife posted last week and got an overwhelming amount of support telling her I was a narcissist and to leave me. She set up an appointment with a lawyer based on the feedback. It's in 2 weeks. I'm not sure who sent her this post, but she is pissed at me. Update number 2 says, since this has gained so much attention, I'm doing a final update and then I'm deleting the account. The messages, comments, everything is a lot to deal with. My wife destroyed all her journals she had been keeping since middle school, so I couldn't read them and try to use anything against her. Apparently, she had them hidden in various spots in the house, like under a loose step in the staircase and under a drawer in the bathroom. I get it. I'm an overwhelming butthole. I appreciate the messages that have sent me links and videos. She is adamant in moving forward with a lawyer and told me her best hope is co-parent as civilized adults and do what is best for the kids. Her name is nowhere on the house as it was an inheritance, so she will have to move. There is nothing I can do about that. I'll try to make it as easy as possible on her from here out and just apologize for taking advantage of her and what a wonderful person she is. I've got to be honest, my thoughts are completely jumbled after reading this and just trying to take in everything that the husband is saying. Because, my gosh, this guy is effing clueless. So you take the garbage out once a week and you do the cooking once every week or 2 weeks? I mean, come on, let's get this guy a medal for Husband of the Year. Let's just recap a couple things that we learned here. Number 1, he doesn't do a whole lot around the house. Number 2, he had an emotional affair while his wife was recovering from a C-section. And then he posts online like he's doing everything right and she's the one with the problem. Oy. Alright, well, the wife in this case made one more update post on a new account, so let's jump into that one now. Alright, this post was confirmed to be from the wife again, although it's on a different account. This one is called Throwaway Update 2. It's titled, Update, Am I the Butthole for Telling My Husband I'm Done Pushing? Hi everyone. I can't seem to get into the original throwaway that I had posted about my husband wanting me to keep asking and asking and asking what was wrong and then giving me the silent treatment. I guess things imploded yesterday. I think he found my original post, copied a lot of my post, and then posted trying to get sympathy here and was absolutely destroyed. Thank you great Reddit folks for that. I had the post sent to my main and I'm not sure who figured that out. But you should 100% make finding obscure people on the internet a career. He claimed he isn't on social media or Reddit, and that simply isn't true. He spends a great majority of his time on social media. He left and went to stay with a friend after me telling him that I was done and there was no coming back from everything. I guess I kinda came out of the fog reading all the replies and the books I ordered. I found out he read my journals, and that was the overall breaking point for me. I appreciate the feedback and messages so much, and everyone who took time to link his post. I hope you wonderful people have amazing lives, and wish you all the best. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called OKProfessional2468. It says, I hope you and your barracuda of a lawyer take your ex to the cleaners. He is less useful than a mud puddle. Most of the actions he admitted to were repulsive. Enjoy living your best life. Another commenter down below called Beneficial Syrup 869 said, I read yours originally, then saw his and was like, I see why she's leaving him, and I don't know her, but she's got a supporter in me. Then him saying, you have to leave his house, and that crap. I hope he steps on a Lego every day. You deserve the world for putting up with him. Hope you can find happiness soon. Another commenter down below called Dolce Spezia says, I'm sorry that your friends in real life are pushing you to stay miserable. In your shoes, I just showed them the post. It's funny how quickly folks change their tune when confronted with a tidal wave of people pointing out how effed up it all is. Your husband sounds like a petty piece of crap man-child. Hope your lawyers demolish him. OP, quickly as you can, you need to screenshot everything that your husband has written down on Reddit. All of these comments he made about how little he does around the house, and freely admitting to all of that is only going to help you in the separation process. My gosh, OP, I'm so glad to hear you're turning and running in the other direction. This guy is a loser, and you deserve so much better. I only hope your children get to spend most of their time with you, because I don't think he's a good role model for them to be around. Did you know every KCC video is uploaded in podcast form as well? You can ask for Karma Comment Chameleon Podcast on every major podcasting platform, or click one of the links in the description down below. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.